The way prices begin to get hyped up, they start at the Rolex SA factory. I repeat, at the Rolex, we're talking about this watch right here. We're talking about this watch in particular. This watch, how has it got so hyped up in the last 30, 45 days? And I'm going to talk to you about that. This watch starts in the Rolex SA factory. It's assembled there first. They assemble it over there, with their parts. After it's assembled, it gets a guarantee card with a reference number and all that good stuff, all that hoopla, they put on that watch. After that's done, the Rolex SA factory has to put this, who's going to get this watch? What AD is going to get this watch? Somewhere in the States, somewhere in the Caribbean, somewhere in Europe, somewhere in Asia, I don't know, somewhere, the wishy-washy stuff, so they put them in like in a lotto, a little lotto basket, and they just pick and they say, hey, Sweet Kid Kino is going to get this watch. To get this Rolex Pepsi watch, probably an AD, if he's lucky enough, he gets 4 pieces, 3 pieces a year, right? So that's where the watch begins to get hyped, in the Rolex SA factory. So now the Rolex SA factory sends that watch to the lucky AD winner that's going to get that watch, because automatically he's going to make money on that Rolex stainless steel blue and red ceramic bezel watch. He's going to make money right away. When the AD buys the watch from the Rolex SA factory, he gets a 40% off that watch. The retail price of the watch is $10,800. So this flim flammer AD, he pays for the watch, more or less $6,480, right? He pays for that watch. Now the AD has that watch and he knows he's going to sell it like this, from one hand to the other. He just needs to pick up the phone and find the perfect, Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealer. He can flip this watch and get greased up, and get greased up. So, all these ADs in the Caribbean, most of these watches, a lot of them, they come from the Caribbean, They come from the Caribbean. But in this case, we're going to talk about the States. We'll leave it in the States. So the lucky AD, he looks for one of his favorite Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealer that, he buys all his, Rolex dogs with fleece watches that nobody wants, those 31 millimeter, 36 millimeter, all these date just wishy-washy watches. So, he has a good rapport with that Muppet Boiler Room grade watch market dealer, and he gives him a call, and Muppet Boiler Room dealer gets happy because he knows he's going to make money right away. So now he goes to see the AD. You want to know how the watch gets hyped? I'm explaining to you how these prices get to the numbers they get to. So he goes over there and he goes to see the AD. He goes, most of the time, you're dealing directly with the owner of the AD. You understand me? Most of the time, you're dealing directly with the AD owner. So in this case, he's going to go see the AD owner. He has this watch for him. A little box, fully sticker with all the bells and whistles. And he's going to sell this watch to the Muppet Boiler Room grade watch market dealer for the $10,800 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. And then in the back door, to get that watch right there, to get that watch that all of you want, through the back door, he's going to grease up this AD owner with $3,000, with 30 Franklins, 30 brand new Franklins. So he pays the AD the 3 G's. The AD is happy because he double dipped. He double dipped with this watch. He made money with the Rolex SA factory, and he made money with his Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market, dealer. You greased him up with 3 Gs. 3 Gs. This guy runs back. This is an example. There's a big watch show going on in Las Vegas, in Las Vegas. So he goes back to the watch show. And right before he enters the lobby of this watch show, people already know, they smell that this man has this watch. And everybody is fighting over this watch. So this man, he bought the watch for $10,800 plus your taxes, plus the grease up money. It's like, what, I don't know, $13,800, right? Let's say $14,000, $14,000. He gets to the show, and they're fighting over this watch. All of them, they're all fighting. This is how the watch is going to get hyped up. This is the beginning of the way the watch is going to get hyped up. And he sells the watch to another dealer from one hand to the other. And he sells it to that person now for, I said 14,000. He sells the watch to that person in the Vegas show for $16,500. So now this Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealer, they had a contact with his AD. He just made $2,500. Now the watch is where now? Is at a price of $16,500. We're talking about this AD gave the watch to this Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealer fully stickered, with all the bells and whistles. Listen, what they're not going to tell you, I'm going to tell you because I like to, because I'm stupid like that. They're never going to tell you this, but this is the way the watch gets hyped up. This is for you guys can have all this information, and when you're talking to these flim-flammers out there, these cockroaches, you know how to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? You know how to talk to them. They will respect you if you talk to them that way. You understand the game. Once they know that you understand the game, ellos bajan, papi. Ellos bajan de velocidad. They downshift. They downshift with you. So then, what they do is, they had a big rumble in the watch show, the Vegas show, because they wanted that watch from you. So you flip it right there. You make $2,500. The watch is fully stickered. Now that gentleman that bought it for $16,500, he's going to make $1,000 in 30 seconds. He's going to pay off his table. The table for the show. Those tables cost, $1,700, $1,500, a table in the show. He's going to pay it right away. And he's going to sell it to Mac. Mac is the other guy in the corner. And he sells them the watch for $17,500. This is the same day in the show. We're talking about a full set watch, fully stickered, with all the bubble gum wrap, all the bubble gum wrap. Unbelievable. So that guy already sold it. He makes $1,000. He pays his table. And now we have a couple of backpackers, young kids, all these kids, they want to make $500, $400. So now this guy sells it to this young kid for $18,000, He made $500 quickly, one into the other. The watch is already at $18,000. You're asking, how do these watches get to the prices they get to? I'm explaining to you. This is the way it's done. You have already people, sharpening their teeth. Like, let's say right now, they're sharpening their teeth right now. They're saying already that this watch is going to get discontinued. I made a video a couple of days ago, and people were freaking out with the pictures that I put up. And I told you that right behind me, the rest will come. A stampede will come right behind me. So you have, you have the feet happy. You have you have Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. They're all doing their videos. You have the other young kid from over there from the United Kingdom. I call him Brad Pitt. He's already talking about it. So, that they were saying that, I was wishy-washy, but they're all showing the same thing that I was showing, right? Okay. But the one that's saying now that watch will discontinue, I mean, he's promoting it like it's, the last thing in the world. Is that gentleman with the two brothers, at the night at the Roxbury. One is tall, one is shorter, one is smarter, one is dumber, and they're saying that they're going to discontinue the Pepsi, the Rolex stainless steel GMT 40 millimeter Master 2 Pepsi is going to get discontinued. They're saying it because they're making room now for they're saying that they're sure that the Rolex GMT Coke is coming, La Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola, the desert, But that's them. Remember, these people are unbelievable. These people are the brains. These are the people that know it all, Me and Sweet Kid Kino, we don't know much, but we tried, We tried. We beat them to the drawing board. Who was going to show the pictures at first, and it was us, And they were upset. They were mad because we beat them to the punchline. How dare you beat us to the punchline, right? But we beat them. So the watch already is at $18,000. They didn't like it, Wicked. They didn't like it, Wicked. Yeah, that's fine with us. That's fine. They didn't like it, So this gentleman sells it to the flipper now, and he makes $500. And they're all going bananas, back and forth with the watch, back and forth. And this is a brand new, fully sticker watch. And the watch, the flipper now says it to another flipper, another Corona backpack flipper, right? The Corona era. And the watch now is at $18,500, $19,000, $20,000. And you're asking me, how does the watch reach the numbers it reaches? It reaches those numbers because they hype it up amongst each other. They buy the watches amongst each other. This is how they get the magic number that you guys scratch your heads. How do they get that number? Well, now you know how they get that number. Now you know how they get that number. And it's all day. It's all day happening. This is how they do it all day to build up the number they want, right? But I'm going to give you the most important thing. These Muppet Boiler Room, thank you very much, Wicked. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Wicked. These Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealers are going to tell you that the watch is going to discontinue, but in regards, they don't want that watch to get discontinued because they want to keep on fleecing you and flim-flamming you. The watch is hot while it's being talked about being discontinued. It's while it's being talked about discontinued, the watch is hot. The more they talk about the watch being discontinued, like I'm telling you, like they talk about collector's grade, collector's dream, collector's choice. This is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want to use no more the word discontinue because they know that me and Sweet Kid Kino, we talk about the watch being discontinued. So now they have changed the name from discontinued to collector's choice, collector's grade, and collector's dream. Dream, durmiendo la paz, sleeping in hay. And that's unbelievable, but that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. These people are like that, Eso es así. And you guys are just skip hopping around through life like a rabbit, You just skip hopping around through life like a rabbit, and just giving away your money, because, that's how you guys are. Unbelievable, but true. That sounds unbelievable, Mr. Donut, but it is true. That's how it is. So they are talking discontinue and they're loving it because like this gentleman, Mr. Feet Happy, was saying, man, like 5 customers call me already asking me, hey, if you have a Rolex, stainless steel, GMT Master 2 Pepsi with a Jubilee bracelet, because I'm going to go into this now, with a Jubilee, remember the word, Jubilee bracelet, I want it. This gentleman is calling, he's not asking about no prices, no negotiations, he just wants it, right? The Jubilee. Another thing, they also have that watch, that Pepsi, in 2 bracelets. They have it in a Jubilee bracelet and they have it in an oyster bracelet. So you understand this. The champion here, the champion is the Jubilee bracelet. That's where the big money, the big money is left on the bone. You know, the big money is left on the bone on the Jubilee bracelet. The oyster bracelet is not a dog with fleas, but it's a dog. You know, it's a dog. It doesn't have the Jubilee bracelet. I mean, I understand that maybe you guys don't understand that, and that's fine because this is my lingo and this is me and Sweet Kick. You know, we talk about this, lottie, 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 lottie. You know what I'm trying to say, right? You guys ain't dumb. You guys are very, very smart. You know, we have a smart crowd here, ladies and gentlemen. So they're talking about the watch being discontinued, and you're going crazy, and you're skip hopping around like a little rabbit because, you know, they're talking about discontinue and collector's choice, collector's dream, collector's grade. But they don't want the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers don't want that watch to discontinue because every year they're going to be able to keep on pushing that watch on you and getting into your pockets, you know, getting into your bank accounts, getting into your 401k, you know, you understand me? Getting into your children's tuition money. So they're just saying it to you. Yeah. You might think they look like they're happy because the watch is going to get discontinued, but in reality, they're not. I'm telling you, you're going to become watch dealers. You're going to become watch. You're going to say, this mother Juan Felipe Nieves, damn, and Sweet Kikino, you know, I have learned all this from the silent man. You know, from the brains behind this channel, I've learned all this. I don't know nothing. I've learned all this from Sweet Kino. I don't know nothing. I don't nothing, you know? I mean, this is the truth. The one that knows everything here is Sweet Kino. And you guys are going to say, I'm telling you, man, this mother frogger has told us how it's done. And that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. And they don't want that watch to get discontinued. They want it to keep on going there so they can keep on milking you. You know, como la vaca, moo, moo, you know, just your last drop, you know, ahí, with this thumb, ahí, you understand me? Ahí, duro, you understand me? They're never going to tell you this, but I will. But anyway, going back to the discontinued watch, they want to keep on milking you to the last drop. They want you to drop your children's tuition money on that watch. And they don't have no mercy on you. They don't care. I already told you how much the watch costs in retail. And I already told you how the watch gets hyped up to the number of $19,000, right? But I'm going to explain to you now what happens when the watch gets discontinued. To all you dodo birds out there, you know, it's unbelievable. This is the good part now. Once the watch, they say, oh my God, I told you, Billy. I told you, Billy Bob. I told you, you cow tipper. I told you, you know, this one, that one, that it was going to get discontinued. In regards, they're like sad because the watch got discontinued. And what's going to happen is it's going to be hyped up for a few weeks and a few months. And after that excitement, you know, la furia, it dies out. It flatlines. That watch that you spend it $22,000, $23,000. In a watch show here in Miami, Florida, a gentleman had that watch for $27,000, right? $27,000. So we're gonna work with that number, $27,000. That's right, cow tipper, unbelievable. So $27,000. So the watch gets discontinued. You paid $27,000. Suddenly, you start seeing that watch, suddenly, it goes from 27 to 23. Let's say this is going to be now, in April. And watches in whatever you call it, watches in something, over there. I believe in Geneva, somewhere down there. And you start seeing that the watch went from 27 to 23 to 22, after April. And you say, man, I bought this watch for $27,000 and it's dropping and it's dropping. And ladies and gentlemen, before you know it, that watch that you pay 27, we're using 27 so you can understand me. It's more economic than that, but I'm just using 27 so you can have an idea. I don't want to say 22, but I'm going to say 27. For that dodo bird, that rabbit that was skipping around through life, hopping around through life, just giving away $27,000, to feet happy. You know what I'm saying? You guys are smart. And before you know it, that watch is going to end up just exactly how Mr. Wicked just finished putting up there. It's going to end up in $16,000. Wicked, I want to use your number because you're brave. You put it up there. But it's going to end up even lower than that. It's going to end up lower than that. And that's what happens with these watches that they're talking to you and they're really, really hoping that they don't discontinue. They're hoping. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. And you guys think, man, these guys are really hoping for this. Listen to this. You guys are thinking, man, these watch dealers are really hoping that Pepsi discontinues so they can make a load of money. No, dodo birds. They're making a load of money while the watch is still active. While the watch is still active. Not while it gets discontinued. When it gets discontinued, the fever is over. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. You saw what happened to the Rolex John Mayer. Dead. The Rolex Daytona yellow gold with a green dial. John Mayer. That watch went all the way up. You want to hear something disgusting? That watch is a price of $38,700. $38,700. And that watch went all the way up. No matter if it's ugly or not. No matter if it's ugly or not. I'm just telling you where it went. With the rabbits, with the skip hopping around rabbits through life, giving away your children's tuition money. That watch, ladies and gentlemen, this is no BS. That watch went all the way up to $165,000. I'm giving you a real number, not a sketch, a real number. $165,000. $165,000. Ladies and gentlemen, you might still see them around there. One of these sketches for 67, 68, one over there trying to be strong and say 71. You'll be lucky. They'd be lucky if they get for those watches today. Those watches are hitting away already. They don't even want to showcase them no more. They don't want to show these watches no more. They don't want. You'll be lucky if they get $55,000, $53,000, $54,000 for that watch. And that's after the watch got discontinued. You imagine the person that paid $165,000 for a Rolex Daytona John Mayer green dial? Huh? He paid $165 and that watch today is not even close to $60,000. You'll be grossed out. You'll be grossed out. So this is what's going to happen if the Rolex GMT, exactly, it's sick. It is sickening. It is. And by me voicing this to you guys is, it's like, man, this guy is really teaching these people things that they're not supposed to know. And you might say, how do you know? Don't worry about how I know. I know it. I know it because of Sweet Kid Kino. He shows me everything. Gracias, Sweet. It's a Kino increíble. He doesn't talk much, but he is the brains of this channel. He has shown me everything I know. I can be a dealer whenever I want. I can be a dealer whenever I want. Who knows? Maybe I become a dealer, Who knows? Because, maybe it pays off more to be a dealer than being, dropping knowledge to you guys, Maybe it's better, I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just saying that, But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be careful now in these next, February is a very short month. I believe it's until the 28th. And then you have March and then you enter April and that's it. And they're going to bombard you. they're gonna bombard you with the Rolex GMT stainless steel Jubilee bracelet Pepsi. Okay? If you're looking at that watch right now, I have to be very, very truthful to you guys and honest to you guys. I can't BS you guys and tell you a price that don't pay, $10,800 for a Rolex GMT Pepsi with a Jubilee bracelet when it's a lie. It's a lie. When I give you a number, I'm going to give you a real number. I have to give you the real number because you guys are going to go out there and defend yourself with this number. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the watch, we're going to be talking about used, slider condition material watches. Used. Don't get it confused. Used. All right? 2019, 18, 20, used. And it pretty much brings a full kit. You want it with a full kit. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Rolex GMT Pepsi stainless steel 40 millimeter with a Jubilee bracelet. Don't pay more than a firm. Don't pay more than $18,000, right? Don't pay more than that, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm telling you. Do not pay more than that. If you pay more than that, you are a graduate student of becoming a window licker, all right?